So our brains on motorcycles. Motorcycling's been around for about 120 years, and our brains have been around a lot longer than that. So we're only used to running speeds at the most, but on motorcycles, we can go much, much faster, and our brain has to get a lot more information in a very short amount of time and has to make a lot of decisions. And so how does our brain handle that? It doesn't have thousands of years of evolution to adapt to us. We got motorcycles and we made them fast quickly. So what we're going to do here is just go through what happens to our brains as we ride, and the things you feel and the things you should feel and acknowledge. And so by the end of this, you have a better understanding what your brain is doing and doing against you when riding motorcycles. So if you're feeling anxiety about motorcycling, that's totally normal. You should feel that, because that bit of fear that anxiety is giving you puts you in your place. You're more or less likely to appreciate the risk of the situation, which makes you better prepared for riding that motorcycle down the road, down the track, on a big trip, whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're not appreciating the situation, or you just have no fear about it, no anxiety about it, you might be a psychopath, because you should feel some sort of anxiety or trepidation about riding. Now, you will get used to it, and it'll be second nature. But when you take on big things on a motorcycle, like your first track day or your first big ride, there should be a little bit of fear that comes with that. And that's totally normal. Now, if it is so high that you can't focus on riding, that's not good. And there actually is a bit of a trick to this as well, because anxiety can be made worse by caffeine in coffee or tea or energy drinks. So they don't help the situation. Whereas if you eat a banana or an avocado or foods high in potassium, they can actually make anxiety a little bit more manageable. They don't make you fearless by any way, but it's one of those things that if you have a big ride coming up, or your first time ever for the track, or maybe it's your second time, you don't want to have any caffeine if you're at risk for having high anxiety. So anxiety is okay, and it can be managed. So when I'm teaching people how to ride motorcycles, I get experienced riders who are coming to the course to get their license done quicker. And sometimes they struggle. They've been riding so long, but they've never actually got any instruction. And some of the basic skills, it takes them a while to get it. It's quite surprising. But then also on the other side, there's brand new riders who have no experience. They pick it up fast. And when they need to do something quickly, they don't have to think about it, they do it right away. So 20% of the population gets it, does it, even in a scary situation. For the rest of us, myself included, the 80%, that doesn't come naturally. It takes time to develop that. So it's quite all right if you can't react quickly right away. But you gotta recognize that, you need a bit of practice. Now, why does it take too long? Well, it's more of an emotional decision. When we're under a stressful situation, our brain has no good ideas. It can't think as sharply as it can in a calm environment. So it takes time to get to that more restful state of our brain to make good, quick decisions. And that's our brain. Our brains have developed that way. And what's really going on there? What parts of our brain are responsible for what?